Okay, welcome everyone. Another job search guide episode is here. We've talked about getting hired, about how to write an appealing CV and cover letter. We also talked about how to get ready for an interview. And now today we're going to be talking with Terka, who's the head of people at talent and talent at Product Board, about mastering salary negotiation. So thank you, Terka, for coming today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor as always. Thank you, Erika.
Thank you very much. Terka knows us very, very well because she's a very active member and also a mentor of our community. So for those who don't know FemPalette, actually, we're a very diverse community of over 1,500 women. What we do for our community is that we do networking events, but mostly we're focusing on mentoring. What we're trying to do with this is basically to in terms of the crisis also of the pandemic of COVID-19, we're trying to help you to get in depth into topics about job searching. Yeah, we're glad that we're helping you with that. And in case if you have any feedback, we would love to hear it. Since we want to keep it short and sweet, we're gonna get right into it, and I'm gonna ask Terka the first question that I have prepared here, and the first one would be. Okay, so the first one, I'm just saying it down. Is there a difference in negotiating a salary for my first job and for a senior position, and how, Terka?
So I think the sooner you start with negotiation in general, then sooner you can actually expect to have a higher salary. So I think both women and men who ask for a raise or start with negotiation early, then naturally it's more likely getting one-on-one than those who do not speak up. So I think like you should definitely start even it's your first job.
Okay, cool. So in terms if this is my first or second or third job, but if I'm in the job process, let's say, and I'm going to an interview, who do you think that should start the negotiation, and how is it taking in terms of the recruiter? If it's, you know, like too cocky if I started, or should I always wait for the recruiter or HR manager to start and then to follow up?
So I would suggest you to start like by being proactive. You significantly increase all your chances to get what you want. Also, this is something what I found in many studies that there is an increase or the increase is 30% higher when the candidate made the first offer. So, or even if you are not in the process of recruitment but you want to really ask for a salary raise, you should start. Salary negotiation.
I know it's said that usually like if the recruiter starts you know, like if they say a concrete number, then you might be afraid to say more because you can think like, okay, they're not gonna give me more, so I'm gonna, you know, say okay, or I'm gonna say even less. So yeah, so I understand that can actually help you to get what you actually want. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great point, Erika. Yeah. That's
cool.
Definitely.
So I was doing my homework a little bit as well. And so one of the tips that a lot of resources are saying is that do your homework. And what are the steps that I should take before starting the negotiation? Like, should I get to learn something about the company? Should I look into some financial stuff about the company, or maybe to look at similar positions at different companies, what they offer? What would be your tips to do the homework before the salary negotiation?
I think it definitely helps everyone to take some time to research before any negotiation. So then you again increase your chances to, and you are going to be more likely that you are going to get a raise. So definitely be ready to make your best pitch and prove your value. So for example, if you do plan on asking for a raise, or even like if you are going to do this salary negotiation, you should have like some chart list and figures to help you. You should always study first what's your role, what's this role's value market. You need data to back it up, and that's definitely from my own experience. This is what always helped me. For example, when I was negotiating my role, I had to prove why is my role one of the most in-demand jobs? So I, again, had to bring some data, some studies, some researchers. So for example, if you're a recruiter, there are many reports done on how the demand increased by, for example, 63% since 2016 or something. So, and that's also like as the business rises for future, where talent is everything, you can like prove why the recruiter position is, for example, great, and why you deserve the raise or why you deserve this specific salary amount. You should also reflect on your accomplishments. And sometimes what helps is if you, for example, count how much money you saved. Is it like salary raise negotiation, or how much? What is the revenue you are going to help to generate, or you already helped to generate?
Okay, yeah, I think it also depends on the position. If you can like show significantly what you can, you know, if you're going to get a raise, then what am I going to bring exactly? So yeah, I totally agree with you. Thank you. Another question, when is the best time? We've talked about it a little bit, but just to sum it up, what is the best time to start negotiating? Is it like, if we're going to really be talking about, I want to get a new job, so is it the first interview, the second, or start, you know, waiting for the actual job offer when I'm going to get it? What do you think?
So you should always be prepared with a specific amount you are going to ask. So you should definitely do the study before you are going to negotiate. So once you're ready to negotiate and you have the specific amount in your head, you can start with negotiation. And it depends. Sometimes it's when you have the offer on the table, or when you've already said the specific and you express your specific amount, what you wish. And it doesn't need actually to be just a salary, like the money wise. It can be also like you should always like include benefits or stock options, but you need to be specific.
Understood. Okay, so my next question would be, sometimes when people come to interviews, and I've experienced it myself, I think once, sometimes you get a questionnaire where they ask you, what is your name, what is your surname, and then they keep the paper in for whatever reasons. But sometimes they even ask like for your salary expectations. If it would be up to you, would you fill that up, and why, or why not?
So I, as a recruiter, I'm on the opposite side, but I always ask for the expectation, because it says everything about the candidate's experience, about her seniority level, and then once I know it as a recruiter, I can be flexible and modify also like the next round and align with the interviewing panel on our expectations, and modify the interview. And for example, if it's gonna be like a salary amount for junior, then I can be also like less intense in my interviewing process. So I would definitely be cooperative in this, and I would definitely fill this in. And don't worry that you're going to disqualify yourself. You're not.
Also sometimes, or if it would be up to you again, or as a recruiter, how you feel it, is that if I'm going to get a pre-selection call, and somebody asks me there about my salary expectation, is that okay as well? Should I say it up front, or should I be, you know, like, yeah, let's talk about it at the interview if you invite me, something like that? What do you think about that?
I think you should be, or like, when it comes to me, I prefer when the candidate is very transparent about this since the beginning, because it really helps me modify the whole interview, the next round. So I would, and if I am the candidate, I always also, because I'm ready to share my expectation, because I know what I want, and I would advise that like to everyone. But I don't know, do you have any other like experience from that?
I mean, sometimes like from my side, if I would be on the side of the candidate, maybe it would be a little bit like too much for me, because when I get, you know, I don't usually, when you do a pre-selection call, you don't even know that somebody's going to call you, so you maybe still don't have something in your mind. You know, when you go to the first interview, of course, I totally agree that you should already have, you know, a set number, net or growth, whatever. But then at a pre-selection call where somebody really like just calls me and say like, hey, we've read your CV, it's quite interesting, can I know this and this and this? I would, you know, I would tend to be like, okay, what if I say way too much? And then they're going to say, okay, well, bye. It's too much. We're sorry. We don't have such a budget, you know, just because of that, But I'm not taking it badly from the recruiter. It's just like that it puts me, you know,
yeah. Maybe that's
I don't want to
preselection because you didn't have actually time to really prepare and do this research and do your homework. So maybe that's a good reason to actually wait because the preselection call.
Yeah. Cool. So when we're going to be talking about the talk, it starts, and now somebody asks me, what are my salary expectations? Would you give some like tips? You've already talked about proving yourself and you know, for the recruiters to see that you're worth the price, but are there any other tips that you would give to a candidate who actually wants to start negotiating?
I would suggest, if it comes to women especially, I would suggest to frame your negotiation as a cooperative effort, because I know that women intuitively realize that they can face a social penalty for negotiation, and this is something to do with all the stereotypes we have about women and men. And if we see women as negotiating, we can think, okay, so this is like she only wants a career and money, and we expect women to be warm and communal. So I think that we should, as a women, we should hold the same stereotypes, or like we should get the best results from these communal stereotypes, and we should make them to work for us. So we should not only focus on ourselves. So for example, if we are using this language, like I want this because I'm great, we should use, instead of we should use we language, and then I think that we can increase again the chance that we get the raise, or we get the thing what we want. And then also focus on the positive emotions and body language, because if you're going to be negative, then the other side could be too like defensive, and you would put yourself in a bad place. And always think about, we want to find the best solution together that works for business and for us. And bring the multiple options and always aim high.
Great tip. Thank you, Terka. What do you do as a recruiter if you give somebody an official offer of a salary, together with the perks and with the benefits? Do you say to the candidates that they have time to think about it, to think it through, or do you usually want an instant feedback if they say yes or no? And what do you think about that? If giving time is actually okay, or should the candidates be always like, yes, no?
I prefer when they will take some time to think through that. As a candidate, it helps me to, again, like it gives me some pool or like some space to actually start with negotiation. And I know that I actually recently read the book Lean In from Sheryl Sandberg, and she said that when she was negotiating with Mark from Facebook, she would like accept the offer like immediately, straight away, without she just wanted that job. But then her husband and her brother, they told her, oh, no man would actually never take the first offer. You have to go and you have to negotiate. And that motivated her, and she actually thanks to that, she's supposed to lead a team of deals. So it was also her like argument for negotiation. And so I think that like take one day and talk with family and get motivated, and
to step down just a little bit and to have a little bit more thought of it. Okay, understood. Do you also think that the job offer needs to be written down so that you have it on a paper or in your email for it to in order to trust the employer? Or from a point of a candidate, what do you think should be okay for the candidate? Is it okay per mouth, or should I always want to have it written?
To me, everything what's written is it's more valid for me. So I would I would say I would recommend to actually have everything in the written form.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can be excited on the call as well. But yeah, definitely
Yeah.
unwritten.
Got it, got it. So if I got an offer, a salary expectation, I go home, I think about it with my friends, with my family, as I said. And at the end of the day, I say, okay, this is not that much as I thought. And for that money, I wouldn't take it. But at the same time, I still want the job. What would you do in that very specific and very hard situation where actually the negotiation maybe really starts?
So you said if you're not satisfied
Exactly.
with yeah. So then I think if you're not satisfied with what they offered to you, then exactly there is the start point for the conversation, for the talk we just spoke about. So that's your space, and if it's still not good enough, then you don't need to worry because you don't have nothing to lose, or you have nothing to lose anyway. So so just like
yeah. You can, yeah, exactly.
Does it make sense?
It does. Yeah, I get it. Like, I mean, sort of like you try, and if it just doesn't, if it just doesn't go through, it probably wasn't meant to be. And yeah, I mean, one of the options, and that is the next question, of course, is also like a sort of trading. I know that some of the companies are promising, let's say, that after 6 months or after 3 months that you do this and this, we're going to have it on paper that we're going to give you, I don't know, 5K plus. What do you think about that? Should a candidate be satisfied with that? Or is it like don't really take it because you never really know?
So I think it really depends. I'm not really fan of this kind of trading, and I just don't support that approach. But if it's written and you're happy about it, yeah, why not? But I don't know. I think for example, what works for us at productboard is that we have this like annual performance reviews where you can always like start retrospectively reflect on yourself with your manager and with your peers, and you have like feedback that helps you then to prove yourself again, and you can always ask for the raise. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes I would take it as a candidate maybe, and I'm not saying that it's wrong, because I understand also the point of the recruiter or of the HR managers why they're doing it, because maybe they don't have the budget now, but they know that in 6 months, the business will get better and they will be able to give more money. But from my point of view, I would take it that I'm like in a trial period more than 3 months maybe, and that I would be in even more stress than in starting a new job, meeting new people, meeting new colleagues and everything. And then I would be even stressed out more that if I'm not going to do this, that I'm not going to get the money after 6 months. That's how I would take it. But at the same time, I'm not taking it, bad from the companies, because I understand that they have their reasons and they're doing it the best they can.
Yeah, it really depends on how you feel, and if you can afford it, and if you want to really try it. And
yeah, if it really is, if it's worth it, then I think like no problem. If it's not maybe the dream job, maybe you can choose another one where they don't want to try it out, basically. Yeah. Cool.
And then again, you should always include into your thinking every other benefit the company offers to you, or like if it's, for example, if they don't have budget now but they have amazing people, or like people or network, you know that thanks to that your value on the market is going to be increasing as well constantly, then it worth it again. But
yeah. Got it. 2 last questions we're gonna have. The first one is that I think that maybe sometimes, and I think it's totally normal, that if somebody starts a negotiation right away and it's a senior manager or a senior person, it's taking, okay, because he's senior, so he's just gonna say it up front, and he's just he's just going to say it the way he wants to say it. But at the same time, maybe from a junior, if they go upfront, I don't know, if they first or second job, maybe it can look a little bit too cocky. What do you think about that? Like for me, it would look like that. And I know that it's like, a prejudice maybe a little bit, but I know that this is how it goes sometimes. How do you take it?
It depends on like other the person's characteristics and like what I think is that you should try to negotiate your salary for a few reasons, even you are like a junior or you think so. If you are going to ask for a specific and higher amount, then you think it's like a normal. You have to realize that each raise is based on the previous salary, and over the course of the lifetimes, the earnings is going to be like increasing if you're going to negotiate every single salary based on the previous one. So you should start somewhere like higher than you expect. It's the normal place, I would say.
Okay, cool. Yeah, perfect. So the last question that I have for you, Terka, is maybe to end it up with a sort of like negative, but at the same time, it's not negative. What is the worst thing that I can do when negotiating a salary in terms of maybe how I, act towards the recruiter, or, like what can I do that could really piss off the recruiter or the HR manager when I'm, when I'm negotiating my price, basically?
So I think you really have to provide some data, and you really have to show that you prepared, you did your homework, and that you're positive. As I already said in my in my tips, what to do. But for example, I had a candidate who would ask for a higher salary, only showing me his like monthly spending, also how much he spends for clothes, food, restaurants, which is not like. That's not relevant at all for me. So he would be just negotiation because he wants to negotiate. He would be negotiated because he wants to negotiate, and then it just like I don't know. It just doesn't work for me, or like it says something about the candidate, like about even the seniority level, and
not pushing too hard, maybe to always feel the empathy and feeling what kind of person that you're talking about, that you're talking
exactly.
to, sorry, and just working with it. Okay, so the soft skills always win, basically.
Exactly.
Basically, and very easily said. Okay, cool. All right, so Terka, thank you very much for all in all helping our community always. We're very glad having you in FemPalette as our mentor. How do you enjoy it, actually, being a mentor for FemPalette?
I must say it's really exciting, and I learned so much by being a mentor, because all the mentees are having so interesting questions that I need really to study for that and be prepared, and it helps me so much. And even because I'm the first time manager, it helped me also like to really gain on some like coaching skills, and I really enjoy to be part of this community, and I'm excited to see how it's growing and how it's successful, and how amazing team it has. Yeah.
Cool.
Great.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much for everything, for all your contribution today, and all the time that you've been with us. And for those who would like to see other episodes, they're going to be all on YouTube, so you can see them all. And yeah, we'll see you soon. So bye-bye. Have a good day.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.